Here's another demonstration of income. The color represents an income band. These are all the schools in Illinois. All of them. And so this green represents all the schools with 87% or more poverty. This purple represents schools with 75% or more poverty. This orangish red line represents schools with 62% or more poverty, 50%, and on and on. So the colors show the poverty level. Over 10 years, it tracks their achievement of the schools, of the average achievement. And if you notice, there is at no point a time in which the poverty level of a school, one school who's at a lower end of the income band, exceeds the achievement of a school that's in a higher income band. It's one of the most powerful statements about the impact of access to adequate income on student achievement. Like the lines never cross, ever. That was high school. This is the same thing in elementary. Now, what does the influence of income on student achievement have to do with charter schools? Why am I talking about this? So I'm going to do a micro and a macro. This is your micro right here. These are two schools in Chicago. Neighborhood and a charter. They're both high schools. They're darn near next door to each other. The average, now what charters like to say is, well, we have low-income students too. We have students from poverty too. You know, but there's a big band in poverty, right? You can make $50,000 a year and still qualify for reduced lunch and be technically considered in poverty. Or low income, excuse me, not poverty, technically considered low income. You get up, absolutely, $0 per year. Now, knowing what we know about the influence of income on kids' access to things that stimulate cognitive development, who would you bet your money on in terms of the higher achieving student? Who's going to have the greatest possibility of being a high achiever? The kid from the household that has 50 grand a year, or the one that makes nothing? Like, we all know what the reality is. We all also know that it's possible for something else to happen, but we know what the odds are. We know what the reality is in America. And the charter schools know the reality too. And so they have an enrollment system that increases the likelihood that they're going to get the children who are in low-income households, but they're making the high end of low income, while the neighborhood schools get students who are making the low end of low income. And this is exactly what we see here. The median income at the charter is $25,000. This is Chicago and Bronzeville. The median income at the public is $5,000. So that public school is dealing with things that charter school doesn't have to deal with. Unemployment at the charter in the parents is 31%. Unemployment at the neighborhood school is 75%. They're more likely, I don't have the exact numbers on this, but they're more likely, the study states, to have a car. The parents are more likely to have a car in the charter. They're more likely to be regular attendees of church. So there's a stability of environment. So they have this huge advantage. They should be outperforming us. That's a micro level. Here's a macro level. This is a study done out of New Jersey because Illinois makes the data almost impossible to get. So this is the difference between free lunch and reduced lunch. Again, you can make $50,000 a year and qualify for reduced lunch. Free lunch, again, you can make $5,000. Right? That's a completely different thing. So how are free and reduced lunch children spread over public and charter schools in New Jersey? What this shows is that the further on the right you are, the more students you have who are eligible for free lunch. The further on the left, the more you have, the less you have available, eligible for free lunch. Charters are red. So who has fewer free lunch students? They're down here, fewer free lunch students. Now let's go to reduced price lunch. So the schools with more reduced students are on the right. And what do you see over there? You see the charters. So they have an enrollment system. And the enrollment system, you all are familiar with it, right? It's a lottery-based system. You enter your kid in a lottery, and you get a list of schools they've been accepted to, you pick one. How does that cherry pick? Well, charters have automatically guaranteed by virtue of their enrollment process that they will never get a parent who is not involved enough to fill out an application for their kid. Anyone who doesn't even, that they automatically exclude that population that won't even engage, that may not even know about. And then they have some other practices that we'll look at. So, are we seeing a relationship between income? I'm talking about income and charters. So here's our finding. Charters create hyper-segregation. Charters get students from low-income families. Public schools get students from the lowest income families. Why does this matter? That's why it matters. Because that income heavily influences achievement. Now, that leaves us with a question. How do we determine the relative effectiveness of public versus charter schools when charters enroll students from high-income families? So, how do you tell where the good teaching is happening? Well, I have two answers to that. First, compare them to public schools that have the same lottery enrollment process. In Chicago, they're called magnet schools. Exact same process. Parents fill out an app, it's a lottery, they get in. So don't compare the charters to the neighborhoods. Compare them to other public schools that have that same advantage.